Do you want to learn how to create 2 beautiful door decor ideas using natural colors and earthy tones?
Sure.
Do ya?
I'd love to.
Stick around. We are glad you're here. I'm Jen.
And I'm David.
And you're actually going to be teaching us that today.
I guess so.
Yay!
So I can learn myself.
Yes, you can learn on the go. Learn by doing, right? We are with David Christopher's. We have a wholesale store, a retail store if you're new here. David here designs and develops pretty much all of our products. I mean, you know, some things are a red rose is a red rose, but he makes tweaks to different floral pieces and things that we import and we sell pretty much worldwide. So if you like to be inspired, you want to learn tips and tricks on how to make your decor game, I guess up your decor game would be the better way to say it, then you're in the right place. And today we're doing something a little bit different. If you are new here, you won't know what we're talking about, but most of the time David teaches us how to do one thing at a time. But today I was thinking, hey, we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, or 2 door decor ideas with 1 recording and get our video done a little bit faster, and you all will have 2 different things to kind of keep your attention, and David will love that.
I'm ADD, so anything that spreads it out is awesome.
So tell us very briefly, and we're going to jump in, what is it that you're doing?
So we're going to be using a lot of light natural colors.
Ooh,
with some, you know, gourds and cream pumpkins and different things like that. And we're going to be doing that in our wreath, and then we're going to be using similar things in our kind of a grayish blue
you've got these things over here.
Door pocket.
Yeah, let me
but
grab
just
those.
with a little bit of an added like tan brown color to it.
So natural and earthy tones, here we come.
So I'm adding a little bit of moss that I scavenged from around the room, from various other things. Not a lot, just enough to kind of cover our styrofoam, because you really don't want to see this beautiful green color that they got going on there. And we're just going to tuck that in to the sides of our wall pocket here. And that should hold it down pretty well. And then we'll be able to go back and forth between both things, I think, at the same time. I'm going to start with this Fern spray that's got some nice light green colors with just a little tint of brown in it. And it is DC 19242. I think I ate a little bit of that Fern spray. And we're going to cut that in a couple smaller pieces. So we're going to be doing kind of coordinating pieces. One's just going to have a little bit more brown in it, so you can see the differences in how that looks if we add just a little bit more brown to make it a little more fallish, or if we want it to make it look a little more like a fresh floral for fall. It's going to look a little, this wreath's going to look a little bit more like that.
And this is our 24-inch grapevine wreath?
18-inch.
18-inch, okay.
So we're just going to cut these up so that they work kind of on the wreath. They give us a good baseline for where everything's going to go, because we don't want to go on top of them. We want these to kind of be on the outsides of the wreath itself and give us some color on the outside and a little bit on the inside. So we're really taking an 18-inch grapevine wreath, and because we're adding 6-8 inches on either side, it's going to end up being quite a bit larger. So keep that in mind as you're using things. If you need a larger wreath, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to start with a much larger base, just because you may end up the size you want with starting with a smaller base.
We did have someone write into our social media page this morning and ask, or at some point, about measuring, and so it's probably good to talk about that sometimes if we use a 36-inch base and you fill it up with stuff, that's probably way too big for most people's front door.
Could be.
Just depending on the size of your front door.
Yeah.
Sometimes people have big front doors, but
some people do.
I would say 18 to 24 inch is more of the sweet spot for a front door wreath, wouldn't you say?
I would think most people probably are in that 18-inch base. That's typically what we use for double doors or even single doors, just because that works really well. Like I said, we can definitely make it larger when people want something really big. Sometimes we'll start with a 24-inch base and it ends up being, 40 inches around. So just keep that in mind as you're doing things. So let's skip on over to the other side, where I'm using something that I've already pulled the item number off of, and I don't know what it is.
I'll have to look it
It is
up.
a pumpkin gourd spray, I do know that. So for this, we're really using this pumpkin gourd spray. It's got just a little bit, a little cream pumpkin, a little light green foliage, and then it's got just a hint of this brown autumn foliage in it. And we cut that apart. So because we're using the wall pocket, I don't need this long branch. I'm going to cut this up into a few different sections so that I've got 3 different decent sized cuts out of this. Our gourd, our pumpkin separately. So we're going to place those a little bit alternatively on either side of the wall pocket. We don't want those not necessarily right next to each other. And we're going to use this slightly taller piece that has these pods, these berries, and a little mini pumpkin, and some few leaves on it as well. More toward the center, just to give us a little height with the same colors.
It's hard for me to see gourds without thinking about our friend Hugh Banks, who takes gourds, like real ones.
Big gourds, yeah.
Yeah, and he makes, what all does he make out of those things?
Guitars, banjos, birdhouses.
Yes.
I mean,
It's impressive.
The best things he makes, I think, are electric gourds. Those are awesome because he'll electrify his banjo guitar gourd or whatever, and then it's an electric gourd. And it's fun to see him break those things out like at
Events.
little events. And
Yeah, he's a musician as well, so he plays in a band and also I think sometimes solo.
yeah.
But with his gourd guitar, who knew?
So I'm going to use, well, actually, I think we'll go ahead and stick our pumpkins in first. And then I'll just fill in around those. So we're going to be using these DC FRU 2756 cream pumpkins. So I'm using the piece that I cut off of our, oops, I hit my microphone. The piece I cut off of our fern spray, the plastic stem, and I'm gluing that into my pumpkin, putting a little hook on it, and then when you glue that in, that's going to stay where you want it and not let go.
Yeah, that's much better than just putting it in flat and trying to glue the actual pumpkin to the wreath.
It's much faster too.
Yes. If people don't have extra sticks like that, what do they use?
Well, they just need to buy some stems, and then when they cut them, they've got something.
Yeah, we talked about in one of the last videos creating yourself a little box of extra stems to use for projects like this.
Yeah. And then I think we'll go over here. And like I said, this particular one, we're going to add a little more brown to. So I'm going to be using this hillside eucalyptus bundle that is DC 21540. And cut this raffia off. And these are individual stems. So, and we don't need a ton because this is a wall pocket. And the great thing about wall pockets, one of the great things about wall pockets, is that it doesn't take nearly as much to fill this up as it does this, especially since I put my styrofoam in the very top, the rim area of it. It won't take us very much at all to really get a good fullness out of this piece. And we're just going to bend those. We want some of our eucalyptus coming out to the side, some of it coming forward. Maybe a piece toward the back, a little bit higher. And a piece toward the front. So as you can see, we really just put the eucalyptus and the pumpkin gourd spray in it, and it's getting pretty full already. Mm-hmm. So keep that in mind as you're decorating for the season. Like these door pockets, which I'm going to put on sale for this video. I think they're $23.99, and we're going to put them on sale for like 40% off. So keep that in mind. These are going to go a long way, and they don't take nearly as much stuff to fill up. If you've got 2 double doors, you're 90% done here. I think I've decided that I want to put a 3rd pumpkin in, but my positioning doesn't really allow me to do that, so I'm going to have to pull one of these guys out. And because of that hook that I put in it, it's not easy to do, but you can do it. So just remember not to pull from the pumpkin itself. Try to grab the stem, and that should allow you to pull it out eventually. You might say that these pumpkins are too big for the wreath, and while I would tend to agree with you a little bit, but we're gonna embellish this wreath, remember, out to about where the fern is, so it's gonna make more sense once we get done. We're just going slowly. So now we're gonna go back to our wall pocket, and I'm gonna use the wild sunflowers, and that's DCE 10070 in ivory. They've got a nice off-white color. We're going to cut this up so we don't use the entire thing in one spot. Dip it in our glue. Push that into your styrofoam quite firmly. And then that's really going to lighten that up. And then we've got another piece to put in. So if you really like that lighter color, those really almost white shades, this color grouping works really well for you. And then we're actually going to add just a little bit of this foxtail to it next. But I have to actually work on my wreath first because, you know, ADD, I forgot about the wreath while I was looking at this. We're going to use our Baby's Breath bunch. It's DCSP 2274A. So these are just individual stems of a nice light little Baby's Breath. We're going to cut those up and use those in our wreath. And remember, we're trying to extend some things out from the wreath, so quite a bit of this we're going to actually make this stick out from the wreath in between our fern, because we don't want to overlap it too much. If you're overlapping, it really defeats the purpose sometimes, because just one thing on top of another and you won't notice it. You won't want to notice the thing on the bottom as well, and we want to be able to notice everything that we're using. So we're just embellishing further outside. We will take a couple of little pieces and go to the inside. Don't neglect the inside of your wreath completely, because you want to have some things, you don't want everything going completely around and nothing on the inside. So now we're pretty much done with our baby's breath. Like I said, we're extending further around our wreath, and we'll come back to that and finish more of that up. Right now, we're going to use a little bit of this foxtail. Not a lot, we don't really have a whole lot of room for it, but we're going to use a few pieces of this foxtail. It's actually a pale pink color. It's hard to tell, but you know, with those creams from the pumpkins, it actually works quite well.
It does look pretty.
And it gives us a little softer feel to what we're doing in our wreath. Our door pocket, whatever this thing is.
Sort of breaks up the textures of all the foliage.
And we're going to use some of our cream sunflower spray because these make a great light, very fall piece. There are actually 3 heads on those. Those are DC SP 2503 in the cream color. And we're going to be able to cut those up into 3 separate pieces to go into our wreath. And those are going to work really well to add some of that fullness to the wreath also. So we have 3 pumpkins, and we're going to try and put 2 of the sunflowers in between each pumpkin. But we want to make sure that when we do this, we angle the sunflowers at different angles. You don't want them all very flat. And I mean, like, if they're all flat out like this, or you don't want them all like this or like this. You want to vary the angles as they come out of the wreath, where you still see mostly the center, but you want some angle, like the focal point is pointing this way, these are pointing this way. And that really helps it have a more natural feel as opposed to them all facing exactly the same direction. Now, if you can't completely get into the almost all cream thing and you gotta have a little bit of that orangey, brownish, butterscotchy color, I'm gonna use some of this Canaan sorghum pick. It's DC 2291 brown. And just to give us a little bit more of that true autumn kind of color into our wall pocket. And we're going to leave our wreath pretty white and cream. Let me cut up. So I am cutting this apart just a little bit so it goes a little bit further. And that's going to be pretty much it for our wall pocket. That's pretty much done. We've filled all of our space up. We've balanced our colors really well from some of the browns and the creams, and that one we can pretty much be done with. So now we're just going to focus on our wreath and finish that up, since that's really what we've got left to finish. And like I said, this is going to look more like a wreath you would make in a fresh environment. This is our Vintage Garden Rose Spray, DC SP 2564 Champagne, and it's cream and has a little bit of a dried texture to it. They actually take what looks kind of like a flamethrower. It's just a torch that's got a lot of heat coming from it, from propane or natural gas, and they burn this fabric just so it's got this crinkle to it, and it actually burn this brown into the rose so it looks like it's kind of dried. It works pretty well. I think they look very natural like that. And we're going to cut some of these up and add these in. These work great with the color of our pumpkin. We're going to cut this rose spray up a few times. Got a little bud, and we're going to use a few of these. So while I'm adding the roses, might be a good time to remind you that you can check out the description box. It's a box, right?
Yeah.
Description box.
Just a description of the video.
Some kind of description of the video. And there will be links to the products in the description box, correct?
Yes. There'll be links. It makes shopping easier. You can find this particular collection with all the items that David used today without looking through all 3,000 products on our website.
That could be a little bit mind-numbing. We're going to try and make that a little easier for you.
Because if you go to our website and you type in the word sunflower, for example, or rose, or pumpkin, you're going to get 6 pages of results.
Right.
So this really helps you to narrow down your focus of what you're looking for and shop easier. And I try to tag the videos on YouTube, not the videos, the products on YouTube, which is fabulous, except for sometimes a product, YouTube won't approve it for whatever reason. And sometimes it's like obvious why they won't approve it, because maybe it has a word in it that they don't approve of. Like say if you put that something is whiskey colored, for example, they're probably not going to approve it.
Promoting alcohol.
Right. But sometimes it's like I can't find anything wrong with it. It's a very innocent title and they still won't approve it, and so I just move on.
Yeah.
And while David is finishing up with these roses, can I tell him about our affiliate program?
Sure.
So we have a brand new affiliate marketing program, and some of you may be thinking, what in the world is that? Well, it's very simple. You can fill out an application on our website to be one of our affiliate partners, no matter whether you do this for fun, whether you do this as your hobby or for a living, whatever it is that you may do, which if you're doing it for a living, we're going to hope you're going to check out our wholesale site, right?
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because you're going to be buying items in bulk. But otherwise, if you're not buying items in bulk from us in wholesale, you will get a special link. So anytime you post that link to your social media, your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, your YouTube, whatever it is, and you're a part of our affiliate marketing program, and someone clicks on that link, your friends and family, and they buy items from our website, we're going to pay you 10% in commission, or you can choose store credit.
Can I sign up?
Sure. So this is a brand new program that's launched. We've sort of been trying to invite some people along the way, but we're pretty much opening it up for everyone to apply for the program. And if you have any questions, we have a wonderful staff here. You can message us on Facebook or Instagram, email us. The description has our contact information to find out like how you can be earning money to spend anywhere you want, but especially more money to spend at David Christopher's to buy the stuff that you want.
Right. Why would you possibly spend money anywhere else?
That's right. Why? I don't know.
Now that we're pretty close to finished, I'm going to fill in just a few little gaps that I've got here with some more of our Baby's Breath, which will be on sale.
So as of today, the end of July 2024, we are out of our Grapevine Wreaths, right?
We are.
And when do they come back in?
As soon as I can get my hands on some money.
Oh, okay. So you have to order those.
I do have to order those. And currently, because it seemed like all of our import products left the port at the same time, that I had to pay for lots and lots of products that left the port at the same time, but we haven't received those products yet, which means we're not shipping those products yet, which means that we're just spending money and not getting money back in return. So while that's fun, we're really trying to get our products in, which hopefully we have some that arrived in Memphis by rail this week. So hopefully in the next day or two, we actually start getting some of those. I will order some Grapevine Wreaths at some point once I start recouping some funds.
So I'm going to try to put a kit together for the wall pocket. And since the wall pockets are on sale, the kit will be on sale.
Yeah.
And you should be able to get a good deal on that.
You could do a kit for the wreath that did not contain a grapevine wreath.
We could. Wreath
Some
not
people can just
included.
buy their own wreath. And
Yeah, and some of you may have a grapevine wreath laying around at home that you want to repurpose. Dream close up. Would they do that on Wayne's World?
I think that is. I'm sure everyone out there knows exactly what you're talking about.
Somebody does. Somebody will show me some love for it.
And then you just need somebody to let you drive their race car.
Yes. Someone commented on our last video that they have family members that are the Wallaces in NASCAR, so maybe they could, help me out. If I chose another career right now, I think that's what it would be. Race car driver extraordinary.
It's never too late. That's what they tell me.
Never too late to reinvent yourself, huh?
Apparently.
It just sounds, I know it can be like very dangerous and hard work, but it sounds like so much fun.
You just want to go fast.
Just to, not just go fast, like to go fast, but like to be competitive and try to win,
So you need a sport in your life, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I need a sport. Okay, so there you have it. Let us know which one you like best. Are you more of a door pocket guy or gal? Or are you more about the wreath? So this one has, like David said, a little bit more brown. I mean, this one is more brown, and this one, well, you had to add the
this
brown.
Is more brown.
This one's more brown, but this one has some natural color brown,
Well,
I guess.
yeah, this is kind of like that orangey butterscotch brown, I guess.
This makes me think more traditional fall.
Yeah.
And this one is more earthy fall.
This is more traditional fall with cream and like cream pumpkins and cream sunflowers, not those traditional yellow sunflowers or like rust colored sunflowers. Right. And this one's all neutral kind of colors.
So here they are, side by side. Could I be any louder with that?
Sure.
Side by side, and tell us which one that you like the best in the comments. We would love to hear from you. And just as a little bit of a word of encouragement today, I know that sometimes we can look around and things seem to be falling apart all around us. I know if you're on social media at all, there's a lot of negativity out there because this is an election year here in the U.S. And
what's that?
Yes. And I just want to encourage anyone that's watching this channel that is a believer in God, that is a believer in Jesus Christ, that is who we're to put our hope in and not in any presidential candidate that is out there, and choose the kingdom over politics. That's my short sermon.
Short. That was good. I don't think you had 3 points in there. I'm going to need one more. So.
Oh, love each other.
There you go. Now it's a 3-point sermon.
Yeah.
I don't really know what that means, but I hear that's what they do.
That's it. That's my 3-point sermon. I thought it was 5 points. I don't know. Anyway.
I guess it depends on the preacher. So.
I know you probably didn't come here for a sermon, but every now and again, we throw in a little bit of what we hope is encouragement.
Super preachy.
Was it?
Super preachy. It's so judgmental to encourage people to not discourage other people.
Okay, Mr. Sarcastic.
Sorry, that's my
Are you
my
loving
gift.
me like I just my 3rd point?
My gifting is sarcasm.
Okay. We will see you next time. Have a great weekend and stay safe.